My name is Bethany Jenkins. Today I will be teaching freshmen. We're going to be using the presentation model. Today's lesson is just going to be some background information over To Kill a Mockingbird, and the target, or the standard that we are targeting today is at the end of today's class, students should be able to recognize how a point of view or cultural context influenced a work of literature. Stepping into teaching mode. Raise your hands. How many of you have heard of the expression of walking in someone else's shoes? Can you think of a time in American history where that would have been especially relevant?
It's okay to
Try it.
Like a war, World War II.
Yes, I like it. Any other examples? Yes, Kyle.
The civil rights.
Yes. As I'm sure you've talked about in a lot of your history classes, throughout history there's been a lot of times where people have struggled to understand each other. And a lot of times authors take to writing to express that. Now for the next couple of weeks we're going to be talking about an author named Harper Lee who did just that. Does anybody know what she's famous for writing? Yes, Kyle? Yes, exactly. Lee grew up in a time where racial tensions were high, and wrote in a time that was facing high racial tensions too. One of the most famous lines in this book talks about walking around in another person's skin. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about what that means exactly, and how Lee does that in her novel. As we go through the PowerPoint today, I want you to remember the big idea that's going to become especially important as we read To Kill a Mockingbird. Context is key. What's our big idea?
Context is key.
Yes. To Kill a Mockingbird was written in the 60s, but it's based in the 30s and shows a strong influence from both times. Now, if you try to read a work without thinking about its context, you're going to walk away with with a different message than the author intended to. We have to remember that context is our key in order to understand what Harper Lee wanted to communicate to us, her audience. Before we start today, if you guys want to take notes, that'll help you get the little ideas. But I also have a concept map that I'll be handing out for you to fill out to help you get the big ideas. Stepping out of teacher mode. So at this point in the lesson, I would go over the cultural context. There's three main points that I would talk about with the students here. After going over the cultural context, I would then have a comprehension check. They would have a whiteboard. I would just ask them to list those off. They jot them down. I have them show me. But for the sake of time, we're not going to be going over cultural context because that is the longer part of the lesson. Stepping back into teacher mode. Now for some information on Harper Lee herself. Lee was born in 1926 in Monroeville, Alabama, a sleepy town a lot like the setting of To Kill a Mockingbird. If you were to go to the city today, you'd likely notice a lot of shops with the To Kill a Mockingbird theme. Lee, much like her protagonist, Scout, was the daughter of a local lawyer. This means that she would have grown up getting the first-hand view of legal cases, a lot like Scout does. She wrote To Kill a Mockingbird in 1960, and in addition to being a book that a lot of high school freshmen get to read, she was recognized for it for a number of other reasons. She won the 1961 Pulitzer Prize for her work, and in 2007, George Bush awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. A lot of people think that To Kill a Mockingbird is actually Harper Lee's way of reflecting back on her life of growing up in the 30s. There's a number of different aspects of the book that line up very closely with her life, like her protagonist. So much like Lee, Scout is a little girl who grows up in southern Alabama in the 30s. You remember how I said that Monroeville has a lot of To Kill a Mockingbird themed shops? That's because a lot of people believe that Macomb, the town in the book, is based off of her hometown. Like I said, Lee was the daughter of a lawyer. Scout is also the daughter of a lawyer. like I said just a bit ago, people like to think that Maycomb equals Monroeville. The Scottsboro Boys Trial. Now, this is an ongoing court case that started in the early 30s, about the time that Lee would have been 5 years old. Since her father was a lawyer, she would have had a lot more information on this than most 5-year-olds would have. Now, I don't want to give away too much information about what's going to happen in the book because this lines up so closely, but it's enough to say right now that the trial, what the boys go on trial for is almost exactly the same as what Tom Robinson will go on trial for later in the novel. Does anyone have any questions regarding Harper Lee or her life influences on the book? Stepping out of teacher mode. So then at this point, I would have a second comprehension check. I would have students get together with a shoulder partner. They would talk about how growing up in the 30s influenced Harper Lee's writing of To Kill a Mockingbird. Stepping back into teacher mode. So I just have one last activity here for us today. If you would all either get out a phone, a tablet, or a laptop, and we are going to go to the website kahoot.it. Anyone need me to write the URL on the board for them? Cool. Just for reminders, you're signing in. Please keep your name school appropriate. Also, do not use the name of someone else in the class. Oh, I like it, Kyla. Someone's feeling confident. While you guys keep doing that, I'll step out of teacher mode for a second. So I have 5 questions on this. It covers all the information in sort of a broad sense that I would have gone through on the PowerPoint. However, because I did not get to go over all of that with you today, I will be skipping 2 questions. Stepping back into teacher mode. I should have 7. Tyler, I think you're waiting on me. Cool. Just a heads up, so the questions will be thrown up here. Also, the answers will be. All you will have on your phones are shapes. So you'll have to match them with the buttons up on the board. Who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird? Yes, Harper Lee. We talked about her a lot today. I am so glad to see that you all got that. Janae is in the lead. What decade did Harper Lee grow up and place To Kill a Mockingbird in? The 1930s is correct. So, the 1960s was my decoy. I was hoping to get you guys, and it looks like I got 2 of you. So Lee would have been writing in the 60s, but she was writing about the 30s, the time that she grew up in. Janae is still in the lead. Nice job, Janae. We will be skipping this question. And this question. Except for the one person who answered it, and you were not correct anyway, so it's fine. What was our big idea today? Yes, context is key. If there's anything you take away from today's lesson, that is it, and I am so glad that you all got it. Congratulations to Janae, who held the lead throughout the entire time. If you guys wouldn't mind going ahead and telling me how you felt about today's Kahoot, that would be awesome. That was just a quick little activity that hopefully got you to solidify what we learned about Harper Lee today. Thinking back on our last question, can someone remind me why I said that context is our key? Yes, Kaya?
Because it's important to know what like the time period she's writing about or that she's from when considering the text.
Yes, exactly. Now, I've done a lot of talking today, and I'm sure you're sick of listening to me. So, I'm going to let Harper Lee have the chance to talk for herself. In just a minute, I'm going to call you up row by row to my desk, and I'll have you get your own copy of To Kill a Mockingbird. We'll be reading chapters 1 through 6 for next time. Now, I know that's a lot of reading, but don't freak out. We need that much reading to be able to talk about our main characters and also Scout's worldview. At the end of class, I'll also be handing out this worksheet. It's only got 2 questions. It's just a quick little review sheet to make sure that you retain everything that we learned today. Does anyone have any questions before I call you up? Stepping out of teaching mode. At this point, obviously, I would then call them up to receive their own copy of To Kill a Mockingbird, and then as they were on their way out the door, I would give them the worksheet to be completed for next time.